Ricky, can you hear us?
I can.
All right. Thank you for joining us today in advance of this weekend's race at Texas. We really appreciate it. We do have several media with their hand already raised, so we're going to jump straight into questions. And to kick us off, we're going to start with Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Ricky, NASCAR announced some changes to the Daytona package. They're going to lower the horsepower to about 450, which will make you about 10 miles per hour slower, take off the rear wicker bill. I'm curious, do you have any idea how that will change the racing? And is there any, if you're in a position where you have to race your, winner in, does that make it more challenging for you, not necessarily having run that package before?
No, I mean, I think it's the same for everybody as far as, whether it makes it more challenging or not. Interested to see what the racing's like. It seems like every time we slow the cars down, we continue to push harder. So it just seems to be a product of being a little bit more comfortable. If the speeds are that far down, I feel like bumping in the corners becomes more, continuous. And I don't know how that will affect people kind of locking up, like the Fords did. When I felt like the speeds were slower, I felt like the Fords were able to kind of lock together and push a little bit more. So it'll definitely be interesting, but they have to try something. Obviously, we're flipping cars, which, nobody wants to do. But if you look at the history of racing and all race cars, that's a product of racing and it happens. That's a tough ask, but it's cool that they're trying.
I assume you say it's a product of racing, but I assume like flipping in a sprint car is much different than flipping in a stock car.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely different. Flipping at speedways is, I would say, obviously the one of the worst situations as far as, being in a packed, one of the front cars flipping, and then, you have everybody else coming through, the crash scene at a high rate of speed. So definitely not safe, but like I said, I mean, it happens in every form of racing. I'm glad they're, trying to make it, less likely to happen.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Ricky, I want to look ahead to Nashville. I know that years ago you ran there, I think 5 times, had a couple of top 5s. I'm curious about, any type of memories or experiences, whether racing, or I'm guessing you probably tested there a lot as one of the options, the tracks that Cup teams did a lot of testing. Just kind of maybe what are some of the memories or recollections or experiences that kind of stand out to you at your time at Nashville Superspeedway?
Yeah, spent a lot of time, like you said, testing, quite a few races there as well. I remember, the racetrack's difficult. It's concrete, one of the bigger concrete tracks that we have. And it races quite a bit different than I feel like a lot of racetracks do with that concrete, kind of how flat it is in areas. But the racetrack is really wide, but we all seem like you want to fight for one area of the racetrack, which I feel like is the bottom groove. It'll be interesting to kind of see. We haven't had Cup cars on it. Obviously, the package that we have is totally different than anything that we tested at Nashville back in the day, as far as with a lot of the Cup cars that we had. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of unknowns, even though that we all have a lot of notes and tested there. I hope it lays down rubber. I hope the tire that Goodyear brings will lay down a decent amount of rubber so that, we can start moving around and using different grooves.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Claire B. Lane. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. So you will start 4th in the All-Star Open. How do you look at that, the Open, trying to get into the All-Star race, past experiences there at the All-Star race, no matter where it's held? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we struggled last year at Bristol, which was kind of odd for us as much as we like Bristol. But, we've raced our way in to the All-Star race before, and obviously having a good starting spot helps. You got to be one of 3 to win. And so starting in the top 4 is definitely a bonus. This package, less horsepower. Kind of anxious to see. I feel like the center of the corner speed might be a little bit higher, but your entry speed is going to be a little bit slower. And I'm not sure, what that's going to do, for racing. But I do know that track position is going to be key, especially in those short amount of laps. So it'll be about maintaining position and putting ourselves in position to win, one of the three segments. So hopefully we can get it done. We feel good about it.
What percentage do you ramp up your aggressiveness for the All-Star race to get into it, right? Like, and what does that race mean to you? It would seem like you have nothing to lose trying to get into it. So you might as well just give us the most aggressive Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that we know, right?
Yeah, you don't have anything to lose, but you don't want to crash race cars just to crash them. So, or tear up somebody else's race car. And so, we'll all race hard. Obviously, Texas is a really fast racetrack. And, I'm hoping with, the truck race and the Xfinity race, I'm hoping the PJ1 will kind of be activated so that we can run, a few different grooves. I think that'll be beneficial for us. And it'll be exciting. I think, the thought process is, if we have less horsepower, then, maybe we all can run a little bit closer together. It hasn't really seemed to work, anytime we've done that, but that's the thought process. So we'll see how it works out.
Go have some fun. We'll all be watching and listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you. Hey, Ricky, I wanted to ask about next gen. With a new car coming in and one that's obviously going to be radically different than what you're used to, what will you do to try to prepare for that? What homework will you put into trying to understand that race car before you get on track with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good question. Right now, myself, I haven't really worried about it. I haven't gone and looked at it. Haven't sat in it. I'm kind of focused on, what we have in front of us this year. But I think a lot of the preparation is going to be from the team side. And then obviously the few tests that we'll have, hoping that you can kind of get a handle on the race car and then really kind of prepare from there as far as, what it drives like, what you feel like you need in the race car to go fast, and then to be able to race around people and make passes. So, for me, I think a lot of that, because I haven't driven it yet, I can only go off of, what I feel other people say about the race car. So looking forward to eventually getting behind the wheel of one and testing it and kind of making my decisions of what I need to do in the race car based off of that.
Do you think it'll be important, though, for drivers to really kind of do their homework on this car? I'm assuming it can't just be something where you all just show up next year and get in and drive.
Well, we all get in and drive and show up now, and I don't think it's any different. Obviously, I do believe that, the teams and, the drivers that have driven it probably have definitely a leg up on everyone. Us at JTG, we haven't ran the car. We haven't had anybody at a test session. So we don't really know exactly how it's going to be, but, there's only so much you can do, outside of the race car, obviously simulators and things like that, but, we don't have access to that. So I'll be using iRacing, I reckon, and go from there.
Okay. Our next question is going to come from Mark Garrow. Go ahead, Mark. All right. Claire, did you have an additional question? All right.
I wanted to ask how much you've been thinking about, or have you been thinking about, how much have you been working on or thinking about next year in general, your job, etc.?
Yeah, I haven't really been thinking about that. I let kind of Tad handle all those issues and things that come up as far as, what our team's going to do next year. Me as a driver, I feel like thinking too far ahead and worrying about things that, don't pertain to what I'm doing right now is really beneficial for me. So for me, it's just, week by week, jumping in the car and trying to do the best that I can.
So that's something that you feel like will take care of itself eventually. Things will happen, and now is a little bit early.
Yeah, I think it'll all eventually happen. I feel like I got a really good relationship with the whole team at JTG Doherty Racing, and I feel they do business, the right way. And so, I feel really good about everything that they have and everything they have going on. And, Tad, he works his butt off behind the scenes of, getting our race team to the racetrack each and every week. So with Tad and Ernie and Jody and, everybody involved on a weekly basis, they work really hard. And so I let them handle a lot of things.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Mark, can you hear us now?
I hope so. I'm going to try it again. Ricky, with 10 races left after we get out of Texas for the regular season, how do you feel about where you are on the points, your chances to get into the playoff?
Yeah, I mean, our chances are still there. We don't like exactly the position that we're in, but the opportunity is still there. And we just got to go execute and perform. I think we were really consistent at the beginning of the year of running, that 11th to 15th, 17th range. And, we got to get back to that. And if we get back to that and it all works out, then that's great. If not, we set out to be consistent at the beginning of the year every week. And so when you have a bad week like this past week, it's all about trying to rebound, for the following week. And, it's not a points race at Texas this weekend, but, we can carry some good momentum from Texas, to these last 10. So we're looking to have a good all-star performance in the Open and then hopefully in the all-star race and carry that momentum, those last 10 races.
All right, our next question is going to come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Ricky. I'm curious, what do you think about Donnie finally making a NASCAR debut after all these years? I mean, he's 10 championships in World of Outlaws, but he's never driven a stock car, stock truck, whatever. But, I guess if he's going to make his debut, he might as well do it in Knoxville.
Yeah, definitely should just do it at Knoxville, even though, racing these types of cars or trucks on dirt really drive nothing like really anything Donnie's driven. But I know he'll adapt really well. And obviously he's got so many laps around Knoxville that I believe will really pay off. And, I think he's with a good team and, they have some good notes and as far as dirt racing goes. And so, I think he'll do well. I think, he's just a great race car driver all around. I know he's driven some Silver Crown cars on pavement and things like that back in the day. So I know he's ready to adapt, and it's cool to finally see him jump in one.
Sheldon's had a great season so far, but do you see yourself being his teammate anytime soon, getting back out on dirt?
As far as being on the outlaw, running some outlaw races, Dad and I aren't quite to that level yet. We're slowly working our family program up and, just trying to race a little bit more and get a little bit more consistency, running sprint cars before we jump back into outlaw racing. So hopefully next year we can do a little bit more of that.
All right, we have a follow-up question from Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Hey, Ricky, I want to ask you, certainly this season we've already had 3 road course races, a race on dirt, some other races on short track. So obviously a lot more opportunities for guys to be closer together, maybe make some contact than maybe most other years. And I'm curious, how do you view what the temperament of the field is with if these races being potentially bringing cars closer together? Is anything kind of raised? Is it kind of like any other year? And then what do you expect maybe the coming weeks with, some more road courses and opportunities to kind of get into each other?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot better equipment throughout the whole field. And like you said, everybody's a lot tighter together. We all know that we have a job to do, and that's to perform. And when people take those opportunities away from you, you get kind of frustrated with it. You know, road course racing, I feel like people, you know, move each other out of the way. And if you move someone, you better expect to get moved back. And, you know, and that's part of it. The ones that just lay over and just let it happen, it's going to continue to happen. So, you know, I think it's good, you know, to make sure that people remember, you know, who pays back and who doesn't. But, you know, it definitely is aggressive racing, you know, week in and week out. There's some people that are definitely, you know, tough to pass and put up a lot of fight for nothing, I feel like. And those guys are the ones that end up, you know, getting moved, you know, more regularly. So, you know, I think it's just part of it. But I do think that, you know, us being on, you know, some slower corners, like road course racing, the short tracks, dirt racing, you definitely have a better opportunity, because none of us want to just go crash somebody on purpose. But, you know, those slower corners, you can move people out of the way without crashing them. And I think that's why you see a lot of it.
Thank you.
All right, Ricky, thank you again so much for
You're
joining.
welcome.
Best of luck in Texas this weekend and
Thank you.
Nashville the weekend after that.
Appreciate it.